What a great day of pickleball it has been here at the PPA Grand Slam Qualifier here in Mesa, Arizona. We've seen some amazing action all day. Let's take a look as we set up this gold medal match between Ben Johns and Matt Wright and Adam Stone and Collin Johns. Let's take a look at a path to the podium, how these players got here as the number 1 seed Johns and Wright get ready to take on number 6, Stone and Johns. Earlier in the day, we saw a match against Joey Farias and Kyle Yates. This was a good matchup early on. 2 heavyweight teams battling it out. See here, this is Stone and Johns taking it. Battle of the young guns out there. Adam Stone using that patented backhand drive. So strong, you see even with that Eastern forehand grip on the backhand side, he's able to power through it. This was earlier in the day against McGuffin and Newman.
Second server.
This actually knocked down Johns and Stone into the losers bracket earlier in the day. So you look at a great overhead smash from Adam Stone. Earlier on the encore interview, I asked Adam Stone what they need to do, and they said, hey, I don't quite know, but it's got to be better than we did earlier when they knocked us out. And they did, in fact, do better as they went on in the bronze medal match to take down Newman and McGuffin. Look at this, Collin Johns forehand. Great camera work here by our friend Steve Taylor from Digital Spatula. Love when you combine the best pickleball players in the game along with the best videographers in the game. Steve Taylor brings great action to you. It's been a real treat for these fans all day and all tournament long so far. This is day number 3 as Johns and Stone earn their place here in the gold medal match the hard way, coming through the losers bracket. Their opponents today, the number 1 seeds, Matt Wright and Ben Johns, the younger brother of Collin. They haven't lost a match yet. Let's take a look at why. Here in their path to the podium, those forehand overheads, it's really no safe place to hit you against Ben Johns and Matt Wright. Any ball that's high, you know is going to get slammed back. Here's a nice example. Again, Steve Taylor catching Ben Johns getting out of the way of that right forehand overhead. That 1-2 punch, these two players communicate pretty well. You see there, after that overhead smash, Ben Johns closing in on the net, looking to put away that volley. They've got the soft game too. They got some touch. These guys know how to work their way around the kitchen. We can expect to see that quite a bit here. Matt Wright looking to use his length to reach far into the court. Went up near the net to intercept those balls, still high enough to really attack. Ben Johns says, hey, I got lots of power too. Love watching these players play. So efficient with their movement, so strong. Our friend Dave Weinbach talked about how Ben Johns, not only the quickest hands in pickleball, but also the strongest. And we see a nice example there as they took out the Badger and the Beaver. Dave Weinbach and Steve Deacon. See that they also took out Riley Newman and Tyson McGuffin. They're the ones who sent them down to the losers bracket. Okay, I'm here. Look how solid Matt Wright is. There's that overhead smash. These guys, so tough once they get on the attack. So tough to get that ball down low where you can neutralize them. And then even if you do get them down low where they're neutralized, they find a way to make you work extra hard. What a point this was. Newman not quite able to get that ball over the net, and our crowd loving this action here. And that's the path to the podium for these two teams. We're going to have a great match coming up. One thing to keep in mind here, if Collin Johns and Adam Stone are able to win this first best 2 out of 3 match, that's then going to force a tiebreaker game, 1st to 15, because you got to lose 2 to be knocked out. And so far, Wright and Johns haven't even lost 1 just yet. So while these players finish their warm-up, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get going with first serve 002 here playing for gold in Mesa, Arizona at the Grand Slam Qualifier, brought to you by the Pro Pickleball Association.
Slightly favored backhand. With hand-eye coordination.
Folks, thanks for sticking with us on this. Some special.
Alongside Dave Weinbach here, gold medal match just underway. We've got Ben Johns serving right now at 0-0-1 after that quick side out. His partner, Mr. Matthew Wright. I'm sure he loves being called Matthew.
Matthew. I think his mother would only call him Matthew when she was unhappy with him. But Mark, it's been a long day here. We started this bracket at 8 a.m. this morning, and it is now 6:26 as we start this gold medal match. Ben and Matt have been hanging out in the Players Lounge for about 3 hours by my total. And there's a little battle over the middle, and that's why we say in pickleball, the middle is good.
102, Matt Wright, Ben Johns. Dave, is it fair to give them the edge right now, not just because they're the number 1 seeds, but because they haven't lost yet. They've been in the winner's bracket only. That's going to be a let after it hits the bar there.
I would give them the edge, Mark, because they are the 2 best players on earth.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
I think I can't be any more direct than that. When you put these two guys together, Mark, it's almost like everyone, it is like you're playing for second place. And we just witnessed an unbelievable bronze medal match with Stone and Johns pulling that out over McGuffin
And Riley
and Newman. And man, that was a thrill to watch. I'm sure you enjoyed calling it, but sitting courtside, Adam and Collin worked really hard, demonstrated tremendous patience and discipline in that match. Oh, that ball clips the edge of the line and skids off to the right. Just another Wichita special. I get a thumbs up here from Matt Wright as he heard that. Of course, Matt and Lucy residing in Wichita, Kansas, where we had a terrific chicken and pickle / Franklin Invitational earlier this year that all the players really enjoyed.
Lucy's been doing a little bit of double duty for us, sometimes coming out with some stats. She's been keeping track of drops and drives and the depth of the return, the length of rallies. She's really been working hard here.
The Slovakian special has to be good for something.
Yeah, she's got her abacus out, and it's terrific. That ball catches just inside the line. That's going to be a side out. Johns and Wright get the ball back here.
John's looking at the referee for a possible overrule, but she is not going to touch that call. That ball skidded on the back edge of the line. We call that the 1-2 punch, Mark, where you're driving the ball and you're moving forward and you're expecting the first ball back and you want to kill that second shot. And Ben is probably the best in the country, I would say, at that. There's that lobbing / topspin third shot that we're seeing more and more in pickleball, where the players go to that western grip and they do a very looping third shot drop where the ball like comes out of the air and comes straight down and to the other player. It looks like you can attack that, Mark, but it comes down so quickly, so fast. It can be quite effective. Oh, Matt hit an out ball there, but got away with it. You know, we've been talking about that all week, Mark, that it's a skill to get out of the way of some of those shots.
That's right. We talked a little bit. You gave some good tips about how to practice that. Ben Johns, once again, hit a ball I think probably would have gone out, although older brother Collin knows how to put some topspin. And with that first timeout, we're going to take a quick hydration break as well, brought to you by Jigsaw Health. It's fun to feel good. We'll be back in a minute with more from Game 1, gold medal match.
Matt Wright, Kyle Yatt, court 2.
So, how did you do?
Won that one. On to the next.
Michelle Weevil, court 3. Ben John, Joey Ferrarius, center court.
Gotta go.
Lucy Kovalovica,
Good luck.
Irina Irina, court 3.
We are back live here on Championship Court here in Mesa, Arizona. PPA Grand Slam qualifier, and out to a quick lead, 6-1-1. Ben Johns and Matt Wright really taking it to Stone. There's a good example of taking it to Stone.
Well, Collin's forehand drive was about 2 feet too high and allowed Ben to hit the ball on a descending track. One of the principles you really want to try to focus on, folks, in this great game is you want to be the team that hits the ball on the descending track. Always try to force your opponent to have to lift the ball.
Sort of felt like that was a little bit of a brother-on-brother kind of attack there. Yeah, full swing from, that's the kind of swing you can have when you're up 7-1. On that counterattack off the forehand side. Adam Stone is going to try to do a little bit of his own. I got to think here, Dave, you know, Stone and Collin Johns, they're going to have to mix things up. I'd love to see a little bit of poaching here, either a drive poach combination or even a drop poach combination to just make Ben Johns and Matt Wright have to guess a little bit about the kind of setup they're going to see in front of them.
They're going to have to do that in this match to be competitive, Mark. They're going to have to do some shake and bake, do some switching. They're going to have to change it up because if they play traditional pickleball, frankly, I just think they're overmatched. They're playing against the 2 top players in the world who really have no weaknesses. I mean, playing against Matt and Ben earlier today, it's tough because there's not really a safe place to hit the ball in terms of trying to speed the ball up on them, and it's very difficult to attack them. And even dinking, I mean, both Matt and Ben are obviously tremendous dinkers, but both their forehand and backhand dinks are terrific. So it's really hard to target a weakness when you play them, and it's quite frankly, it's intimidating. And I think they know that. And that gives them even another competitive edge over their opponents. That's going to sail long. There's an example of John's. He's often going to the two-handed backhand for a little bit more stability on those volleys. So you'll notice when the ball gets ripped very hard at Ben, both in singles and in doubles, he does this. He goes to the two-hander, and what that does is gives him more stability. That might come in. Oh, just wide.
It is just wide, but it's amazing how much the spin on the ball can affect that. So, Dave, about this two-handed backhand, that we talked about it before, and it's not uncommon at all. Hasn't been for years to see the women using two-handed backhands. The majority of the top women have for a number of years. What we are seeing over the last, I'd say, 18 months or so, is seeing more and more of the guys doing it, including Ben Johns, as you say, including Collin Johns. You mentioned stability. So if you're being attacked, for example, on those off-center hits, maybe you're able to control the paddle. What about in terms of not just sort of in a defensive mode, stabilizing the paddle, but also an offensive one, being able to create speed? Can you get that second hand there also as like for offensive reasons?
You can. We don't see that on the men's side yet. I think Ben just does it for that punch or block volley. There's an example of it right there, where when the ball is driven him with a lot of pace, he wants just that extra stability of holding that paddle solid. And what's amazing to me is how quick he gets both hands on the paddle. If you watch him. Oh, a facial. And Wright apologizes right away as that bounces off the stone Texas head.
Right off the noggin.
Uh-oh. That's an issue. Good defense by Stone to get out of that. Another great dig by Adam. Oh, and they come out with that terrific defense, turning into some offense at the end by Stone. Yeah, Mark.
We're going to go to a quick break. We're going to be back in a moment. This hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. It's fun to feel good. We are back on championship. It's fun to feel good. We're back on championship court here where Matt Wright and Ben Johns out to an early lead, dominating right now in game number 1 against Adam Stone and Collin Johns. But that's a nice counterattack by Stone. He's going to be happy with that.
4-8-2. Stone serving to Wright. Nice low backhand slice return. And that's one of Stone's favorite shots. He loves to, what I call, slap his backhand hard and flat. He doesn't roll it with a lot of topspin. He slaps it hard and flat, and he generates a tremendous amount of pace on the ball. And that does not curl in. Stayed out wide, missed by a ball.
9-4-1. Just a reminder, these players aren't just playing for the love of the sport. They're also playing for cold, hard cash. And there's prize money here, $5,000 for the winning team, $2,500 for the silver. And we've got a game point here, Ben Johns serving.
That was
Nice.
a little too far for Ben to come over. I don't think Matt wants him coming over quite that far. He was determined to hunt that ball down. I think Matt needs to tell him he's not playing mixed doubles here.
10-4-2.
Right, Lucy? The Slovakian special sitting courtside.
And that ball clips off the top of the net. Looked like Ben Johns had the direction lined up. A little bit too low. That ball clips off the top, goes out. 4-10-1. Collin Johns, Adam Stone trying to get something productive here, even if they don't win game number 1. At least feeling good going into game number 2, and that'll help.
And there's another example of what I'm talking about with the Stone backhand is he generates a tremendous amount of pace with it. And like a lot of players, we roll that with a lot of topspin to bring the ball down in the court. His is very unique and extremely effective. And that ball sails a little long as well. Correctly called out. 6-10-1 here in game 1 of the gold medal match on men's pro doubles day and men's pro singles doubles day at the first inaugural PPA tournament here at the Mesa Tennis Center. We are just east of Phoenix, Arizona. We are very close to the beautiful mountain range, the Superstition Mountains. It's just a gorgeous area. Folks, if you weren't able to join us this year, put this on your map for next year at this time. You need to come out and experience the Professional Pickleball Association.
And of course, you don't have to wait till next year. You can come to any one of the other 6 tour stops that we've got coming out throughout 2020. Head over to ProPickleBallAssociation.com and you can see all the great stops. All right, and here we go. Adam Stone, Collin Johns. Trying to work it here, 8-10-2. Maybe hoping for a couple of mental mistakes from Wright and Ben Johns, although those are tough to come by these days. 10-8-1. Game point.
Let's see if Ben goes for the big serve here. No, he didn't. He can wind up and really go. That's going to sail long, so they'll have a second chance here to take this first game of this gold medal match. Of course, Ben and Matt came through the winner's bracket final, so if they do indeed win this 2 out of 3 games to 11, they will be our gold medalists. If Collin and Adam win the 2 out of 3, they are not gold medalists yet. That will force a tie-breaking game to 15. And that, as I like to say, is issues.
8-10-2. Adam Stone serving here. It's going to deliver. That's a tough serve too, Matt Wright. Ball sits up a little high, and that's what Adam wants. He can drive it, but
I think Wright hit an out ball there. Oh, nice dig by Collin. Oh, I thought Adam got to it, but just didn't lift that ball enough.
game point here. 10-8-1 in this gold medal match. There's that Ben Johns rolling cross-court drop. Look for the angle. That ball's wide. Got it. And there we go. Game number 1. Ben Johns, Matt Wright. They take the first game in this gold medal match. One more, and they're going to win the money and the medals. We're going to be back in a moment with more here from Mesa. We're coming back, Dave. Okay. All right, we are back live here on Championship Court here at the Mesa Tennis Center. Mark Renison alongside Dave Weinbach. And Dave, we're going to be seeing you in the singles tomorrow?
We are going to be giving it a go in singles tomorrow, but not against these young kids, Mark. I'll play doubles against these kids, but singles I stay with my own age group. Stone announcing that he pulled out of singles tomorrow. But yeah, I'm playing in the 50 plus tomorrow, and looking forward to it and having some fun, getting some good exercise. But back to this live action. We are ready to start game 2 here with Johns serving to Johns. Really, there's no wind to speak of here, Mark, tonight.
Yeah, pretty nice conditions here. It is getting a little bit cooler. The players out there, they're nice and warm. They're still wearing their shorts, but if you look into the crowd, you'll see a few hoodies and some blankets. Haven't seen a toque yet, also known as a beanie. Depends where you live, I guess.
0-0-1. Yeah, that was very unlucky from Johns, that it clipped the net and went straight up in the air, high to Stone's forehand. Let's see if Collin and Adam try to change it up a little bit here, Mark, and do a little more shake and bake and some switching. And I would fully expect that, and I think one of the ways that I would suggest they do that is after the third shot drop like that, that's a good time to try to poach the next shot, but it has to be a successful third shot. It can't be one that's attackable.
Yes, you know what, especially if the return of serve is deep, and when that player does play that third shot drop, it's really enticing for the team at the net to hit that fourth shot back toward the player who's deep in the court. And you're right, Dave, that could be a great time for the player who didn't hit the drop, who's up near the net, to look to intercept that ball over the middle.
No, not a point. It looked like Wright got a little discombobulated there, trying to jump the kitchen, and got jammed with a nice shot from Johns, Collin Johns, that is. One zero one here as we begin game 2 in this gold medal match, and that is going to sail long, and that gives them a 2-0 lead here in game 2. Of course, Matt and Ben took game 1. They've come through this bracket, Mark, unscathed. In fact, not only have they not lost a game, I don't think they've had a game that, I think they had one game today early against Warnick and Merchant that went to, I think Althoff and Jeff got 9 points against them. Other than that, they have absolutely rolled, including rolling over the Badger and the Beaver earlier today. Myself and Mr. Deacon, they steamrolled us.
Yeah, just a few people asking right now what's coming up next. This is our second last match of the night right now, this Pro Men's Gold. Coming up after this, we're going to have Senior Men's Gold, which should be a great match as well. Ooh, that ball just stayed in.
I think that hit the line.
Yeah. That match coming up will be Kevin Booth and Dane Gingrich. They're playing in the final against Paul Olin and Dave Fleming, and that should be an exciting match as well, Dave.
That's going to be a great matchup. Those teams have never played each other before that I am aware of. In fact, those are new teams playing together for the first time, and a few upsets in the senior men's today. Collin Moore did not reach the top 3. Brian Pointer, who recently won the national championships in senior men's pro, did not medal today. That's an easy backhand volley that Wright will make 9 out of 10 times there, and he was yelling at himself for that unforced error. 3-0-2. Love that return by Ben. Not only does he get it with a lot of slice mark, the ball stays really low, and he got it in the back third of the court, which he tends to do consistently.
Yeah, not much you can do with it. Dave, okay, I got a hypothesis for you, another one. So we are seeing, as we watch at the top level, we're seeing more and more third shot drives being played as a percentage right now. I know it's not always your go-to shot, but we are seeing a lot of third shot drives. And I'm going to argue that one of the reasons we see more of those is partly because players are using more spin on the return of serve. And after we watch the end of this point, we'll talk about why that might be. Ooh,
that's a great shot from Ben. That ball was going to come in. That ball was going to come in.
All right, so here's my argument.
To your point, Mark, I think part of it is the technology of the paddles has really gotten to a level where the players can generate a lot more spin on the ball, and that allows the players to hit more third shot drives and control the ball better and generate that topspin that, of course, brings the ball down. So by the time the ball gets to the opponent, the ball is actually below the tape, so it makes your opponent have to lift it. So it's a trend I see absolutely accelerating as the technology keeps growing, not just with the paddles, but I've said this publicly. I think the technology and the research and development of the ball is even going to exceed the development in paddles over the next 5 years. I'd be anxious to hear your opinion on that, because I don't think you and I have talked about that on the air.
Yeah. It's an interesting question about the ball. Let's talk about that in a moment. I think you make a really good point about, you're right, the fact that players are able to drive the ball harder with these paddles, they're able to create a little more spin, and that makes a good point. You already talked about forcing your opponents to hit up. I also think that, imagine a ball that is spinning into a stationary object like a wall, right? You throw a basketball into a wall with a lot of spin on it. It's going to rebound. It's going to take a funny bounce off that wall because of the spin. And if you're playing a drop, which, by definition, the paddle is moving pretty slowly when you hit that drop, and that allows the spin to then do its thing against that paddle. Whereas if you accelerate against that spinning ball, the spin is going to have less of a factor. So
it negates it. You're correct.
Yeah, so I'm actually seeing, like we see right here, Adam Stone driving that deep ball, this time into the net. Anyway, as to your point about the ball, yeah, it's really wild west out there in terms of the balls. Right now we've got the Durafast 40 here at the PPA, the official ball, and that has been the standard ball for many of the tournaments right now. There are, of course, other competitors coming into the market, but you're right, it's interesting to see as companies try to play around with both the materials of the ball, the way they're constructed in terms of the number of holes, the position of the holes on the ball, even playing with the consistency of the size of the holes. You do see sort of balls play differently, especially in different conditions, based on temperature and whether the surface they're playing on. It's a really interesting adjustment to the game, and I agree with you. That's something that, I have no idea 5 years to know what it's going to look like in terms of balls.
I think in 5 years, we're going to look back at this Durafast 40 ball and laugh and say, how did we ever play pickleball with those balls? That's how fast I think this technology is going to grow, and I know of at least 7 companies that are putting a tremendous amount of resources into R&D, research and development, both time and money, so into the ball. So stay tuned on that one, folks.
All right, back to the match here, and all of a sudden we see that Collin Johns and Adam Stone, they've now got the lead here, 4-3 in this game number 2. That ball is going to go out. That's going to be a side out. They're going to get to try to add to this lead here. 4-3-1.
Really nice attack ball by Stone there with his forehand, taking it across his body, and Wright was expecting a backhand, and Adam got it all the way to the right side of his body. And folks, that's something to really watch. As you play pickleball, one of the skills that you need to develop is reading your opponent's paddle position. So if you see your opponent sitting strong with their backhand grip, it's a wise play to drive it hard to the forehand side of their body. And same thing, if you see your opponent sitting with a forehand grip, it would be a wise thing to try to drive the ball to their backhand side. So that's a skill that, at the really advanced levels, and anybody really can work on that, is read your opponent's paddle position.
Yeah, it's so subtle, isn't it? And especially at the speed we see. Ben Johns right there took a big swing with his two-handed backhand. Missed it just long. As Stone gets help from the net twice.
Oh!
And that's going to be another side out. Adam and Collin, they know they got away with one a little bit there. 4-3-1, they still have the lead here. They'd love to add to it. How many times do you think Ben Johns has read that down the line little forehand flick from Collin before? He was there sitting on that backhand ready for it. There's another point though, 5-3-1.
We're seeing Stone almost exclusively go to that third shot drive in this game, especially on his forehand side.
I would argue that the fortunes of their team rest largely on how much confidence Adam Stone is playing with. And to me, right now, watching game number 2, you can see how aggressive he is. He's getting most of the balls hit to him. The fact that he's swinging freely on that third shot is a sign to me that he's feeling pretty good out there. And the fact that he dodged that ball, as you say, that skill of knowing when not to hit it. People who are a little bit jittery sometimes, not feeling a lot of confidence, won't be able to make that subtle distinction and know when to dodge it. So watch for Adam Stone to continue to be strong for his team, and I think it's going to say a lot going forward here.
Yeah, he's had a great day. He played great against Steve Deacon and I in that 4th place match, and he played fantastic against McGuffin and Newman in that bronze medal match. And Collin Johns has also had a terrific day. I mean, they've come through this bracket, and they've had really 4 tough matches, and including a tough match over Merchant and Warnick. Oh, that clips the net.
There we go. Look at that. One more time. Adam Stone. Like, you have got to have confidence from a low backhand like that to go hard at Matt Wright from that close to the net.
Yep, he put it in a very good spot, up on his left shoulder. And the ball was going to go out. And we've talked about that it's very difficult. When you're locked in and you're zoned into that ball, it's tough to get out of the way. And there's a forehand cross-court winner by Matt Wright. Matt is a tall guy with long arms, and you can't underestimate the advantage of that, Mark, because you can generate and create angles when you have length like that. And it's a huge advantage in this game.
Like how Ben Johns staying away from Adam Stone here. We had a quick question from Ernie Medina Jr. asking about grips and whether players are at this level are using the same grip throughout the point or typically changing it depending on the shot that they're going to play. Do you want to address that one after this point's over, Dave? Like right there? About grip changes during the point.
Yes, I get that question a lot, and they say, do you ever change your grip? And I do change my grip depending on the type of shot and the type of spin, and that's a really, really advanced, skill. So, with the average player that I teach, we don't teach change grip. There's no time. Until you get to a real advanced level in this game, we don't talk a lot about changing grip. What we do talk a lot about is changing grip pressure on the shot. So if someone has a soft shot in this game, like a dink or a third shot drop, I suggest a light grip pressure, like 3 to 4 out of 10. And if you have a hard shot, like a drive or a punch volley or a return of serve or an overhead, then our grip pressure is a little tighter. It's more like a 7. So we talk a lot about grip pressure, but it's a tough game when you start talking about with amateurs changing grips. What's your feeling on that, Mark?
I'm about to post a video that we made a little while ago. Talks a little bit about my ambivalence around grip changes.
Oh, and that clips the net and drops.
And not just changing grips. You're right, Dave. Up at the net where there isn't a lot of time when you're in one of those reflex volley situations. We're going to talk more about this when we come back for a second. We're going to go to a quick break. Hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. It's fun to feel good. Back in a second. Let's talk about grips.
People have this conception that pickleball, that's an old person's sport, but I don't think they realize how physically demanding it is with those quick bursts and long, grueling points. The first U.S. Open, I found myself cramping in 2 different events. When you start cramping, it's too late. And when I first started playing, I wasn't ready for that. The biggest difference I feel on the court with Jigsaw products is I'm not cramping at all. It gives you that mental confidence that your body's going to hold up. Jigsaw products will provide a lot of value to you both on and off the court.
And we are back live here on Championship Court. You're looking at Adam Stone getting ready to serve at 7-4-2 to Ben Johns. That ball catches the inside of the line. That's going to be a side out.
I'm really surprised Stone didn't go for that. I mean, that ball was 3 balls in. It wasn't like it hit the line. And he was right there in position to hit it. He just misread the angle.
Ball goes off the right hand of Ben Johns. That would be a legal play if that ball goes back over the net, and sometimes it does. In that case, it goes into the 3rd row of the stands, which still, Dave, are pretty well attended here given how cold it is, as well as people around the outside of the court, too.
And there's a missed return. We call that a freebie. 5-7-2. Oh, nice dig there by Wright.
There we go. Adam Stone taking a big cut at that high volley.
7-5-1.
7-5-1. Adam Stone serving here. They're trying to add to their lead. They would love to send this to a 3rd game here in this gold medal match.
That's gone.
In that case, Collin John is not trying to play a lob there. What he is doing is he's trying to defend, and the ball is so low that that open paddle face is going to force that ball to go up, which is exactly what Wright and Ben Johns want.
Johns disguises that forehand so well. He takes this big backswing, and he can drive that down the middle. He could go cross court, and he can just as easily pull that ball across his body to his left and go to out wide left. So it puts you in a tough spot. There's a short lob serve that actually works.
And that is why he does it. We can call that a rhythm change there. And we'll stay in chat for a moment while they go to that quick break.
Well, we talk a lot, Mark, about when you're serving, you don't want to be a predictable server. You want to change up spin. You want to change up location. You want to change up trajectory. And you want to keep your opponent guessing.
Yeah, and that's right. And I mean, sometimes giving your opponents too much time to think, or more time than they're used to, that's the kind of error that they're hoping for. And now, you know, it's not that was too tough a ball for Collin Johns to handle, but that little mix-up can throw them off, give them a little too much time to think about what they're going to do. He's going to be happy with that.
It's 7-7 in game 2. Who's feeling energetic? I'll bet these 4 pickle pros are.
All right, we're back to the action here. 7-7-1, just a reminder. And right now, Ben Johns calling a timeout. Let's do a little equipment adjustment. You know what? We're going to take a quick break now. We'll be back in a moment with more here from center court in Mesa. Championship court. There was a timeout called by Adam Stone and Collin Johns, and right afterwards, Ben Johns called it. I think, Dave, he was just changing the grip on his paddle.
Yeah, he was re-gripping the over-grip on the paddle.
Yeah, just want to make sure that he was ready. There's that lob serve again. I want to see if they could strike gold twice. They don't, and it seems like Ben Johns happy he changed his grip. It's a nice backhand flick.
Collin has probably seen that 460 times from Ben, but was just a tad late getting there. Matt going for the short lob serve again, trying to elicit a missed return or a weak return from Collin. Oh, whoa.
There we go, once again.
Oops.
Once again, Ben Johns going hard at Adam Stone. Got to watch out here. 9-7-1, just 2 points from gold medal victory here. Slowing down Adam Stone and Collin Johns.
And we call that a Villages lob. Villages.
All right, that ball a little bit too high. Let's see if Ben is aggressive. Not too much with that first serve. They look pretty content to battle right now at the kitchen line. And Adam Stone has made a few errors now. That's going to set up.
Great drop there by Ben Johns.
Championship point here for the gold medal and the $5,000. And that ball finds the seam right between the middle. Number 1 seeds Ben Johns and Matt Wright. They do what was expected of them. They take the gold medal at this inaugural PPA event here in Mesa, Arizona. $5,000 prize money doesn't hurt either, Dave.
That is not too shabby, considering I think they only had to play 4 matches to get that. Not a bad day's work, and they really weren't challenged too much today, Mark, in that gold medal match. And that's a partnership we're going to see a lot this year in all of these PPA events. So look out, folks.
Adam and Collin did a good job. I'm going to go see if I can get a quick interview. Dave, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for staying by. And if you're watching at home, you should stay by too. We've got Senior Pro gold medal match coming up. It's going to be a good one. Stay close, and here we'll do a quick interview. All right, everyone, let's get a quick word in with our champions, Ben Johns and Matt Wright. Look at all the people trying to get interviews with them.
You're on.
Ben, that looks like a delicious snack. Yeah, from the Matt's having one of those too. All right. First of all, thanks to all the fans for packing these stands over here as for this gold medal match. And Ben and Matt working hard, chowing down on that donut. Ben and Matt, you two went undefeated today throughout the tournament. I bet you're happy about that.
Absolutely.
And were you a little bit worried all of a sudden Matt Stone started to catch fire a little bit there? He started to play with a lot of confidence. You can tell when he's counterattacking, especially off that forehand side. And what was it, just a matter of weathering the storm?
Yeah, it was when the lights go down or the sun goes down, it gets a little harder to see, and they started flipping the ball at us. And I mean, that's a good strategy.
All right, and we're going to expect to see both of you in singles tomorrow, so you look forward to that.
You'll see me.
I thought, maybe we could have a last minute entry for that, right? All right, again, congratulations. We're going to get the check presentation, $5,000 in prize money to this team, as well as the gold medals. Connor Pardo from the PPA.
So between Third Shot Sports, the Pickleball Lab, and Pickleball Coaching International, we got you covered.